Here we go. Here we go. All right, folks. Let's get it. Okay? We're ready? So, okay. I'm doing it live. I have yet to know what is being said here. I know it's, according to some of my followers, it's cringy, okay? It's according. Now, again, many people are saying. So we will find out right now, live, whether or not Ben Burgis mentioning me on another person's podcast is cringy. So we're going to find out. Now, again, I want to be very clear. For those of you that don't know, I made a video about Ben Burgis's disastrous take on January 6th, where he said it was no big deal and we should stop talking about it. And I mocked him a little bit. You know, friendly. I have his book. It's on the floor somewhere. I mean, just trust me. I have his book somewhere, okay? Why would I lie about that? Go watch. But... so I have his book. You know, I'm not like I followed him. I enjoyed his show and right? And so I criticized him, and then people reached out to him and said, "Hey, you should debate Andrea on January 6th." And so he watched my video where I criticized him. And again, I used swear words. I called him, quote, dumb as a shit fuck. That was what he took issue with. So he said he got really offended by that in DMs with me. I apologized, and we had a conversation that lasted like a day or so. Right? So he said he was offended by the initial video. I apologized. He accepted my apology, and we continued to have a conversation in DMs. Okay? Then, publicly, he lied about it. He said that I didn't apologize, that my apology was fake, and then he said that he doesn't want to debate me but we had like a conversation in DMs, and so he's been lying about it for, a couple months now. And so someone asked him about this, and so let's listen. Let's see how.
On it, I want to talk about leftist infighting, and we sort of are kind of dancing around it. I just know, lately with all this stuff, won't get into specifics because I know that Andrea Rovenski, she, I watch her streams sometimes. I saw her on Matt Bender's show is how I found out about her. And, she's been doing this thing where she went and protested for 200 days in a row, BLM protests in the city in North Carolina she's in. And, she can be very funny, but then I saw that she had all these videos on you. I was watching them man, these are really over the top and ridiculous. And then, there was that back and forth and whatever. And I just kind of I see her as having a lot of I don't know, some communication issues maybe.
So yeah, let me just.
Whoa, Cashew. Coming into the stream telling me to watch his podcast, and I'm getting thrown under the bus. Now that's okay, because I know he's just trying to butter up Ben Burgis. So that. I understand that. It's a good strategy where you kind of lean into the question by agreeing with Ben Burgis a little bit to get more out of him. So I agree with that. That's fine. It's all good. But whoa! Whoa! All right, let's go.
Your situation first, and then maybe the broader question you're asking, and then you can let your dog out. Okay. You're wearing headphones, so your dog won't hear me say the word out. Yeah. So Andrea is somebody who got upset. I think it'd be fair to say at my January 6th take, the article
I would say that is a fair assessment. I did get upset at his January 6th take. That is a fair, so far, so good. As far as Ben Burgis is concerned, we're in 100% agreement. Yes, I did get upset. Let's keep going.
With Daniel Bester about this, which people can look up in Jacobin. It's called Trump is a Threat to Democracy, but that doesn't mean he's winning, and, stuff that I'd subsequently tweeted about it. That I don't think that, I think actually all of this started because of, it was some Twitter thing where I was somebody.
I wish I could put this on 1.5x, to be honest with you, but I don't know how to do that on Apple Podcast Preview.
It was responding to something about January 6th hearings with the meme that says "healthcare, please," and I was agreeing with them, and that kind of set off the whole thing that because I think that it's overheated and unhelpful to say that, I think the narrative on a lot of the left is that this was this near miss fascist coup against democracy. And I think that's.
So I mean, again, I've been covering January 6th. When January 6th happened, right, I did like a thing where I did for the next 2 weeks, I did 2 shows a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, because there was so much news coming out about January 6th. So I went in deep, right? And then ever since then, every time like there's big news items that come out, and I did one in this show earlier, right? I try to talk about it because I think it's important to understand just how close we got to having politicians getting killed or anything worse than that, right? When you look at some of the footage that was found out, and it's like they're like the angry motherfuckers with like fucking bombs and weapons, right, are 40 seconds away from Mike Pence. That's crazy. Right, like if the cop opened the door for them, like, you know, literally 20 seconds sooner, or if like that window took like 2 less flagpole beatings, right, they could have killed the vice president. And so that's something I think that it's important to understand. Now, again, does that mean the halls of democracy? I don't give a shit about the fucking halls of democracy, motherfucker. I give a shit about fascists who want to kill people like me, trying to overthrow the government and get the halls of democracy and then use it against us. That's what I'm afraid of. Now, I don't know about Ben Burgis, right? But as a trans person, right-wingers don't like me. I'm like, look at their state legislators passing all these bills about people like me. I am number 1, number 2, maybe number 3, right? In the top 5, at least, of people that they're going to fucking kill ASAP, right? Now, I don't know about Ben Burgis. I think he's like, you know, a Jewish or something, so he might be on that list somewhere. But, you know, hey, all I know is they don't like me. If they got the power of the U.S. government, I'm on the chopping block, motherfucker. So I take fascism seriously, right? I know the kind of damage these motherfuckers can do, and I take that seriously. So Ben Burgis, on the other hand, doesn't care. And so I want you to understand that context.
You know, because I think that it's overheated and unhelpful to say that, you know, like I think the narrative on a lot of the left is that this was like this near miss fascist coup
40
against
seconds.
democracy, and I think that that's just not really really accurate. You know, I think it was a extremely ineffectual attempt at doing something anti-democratic, although most of the people involved understood it the other way around, like we were talking about. But I think the idea that this is some huge threat is just kind of misguided. And it's not. You know, there was certainly a minority of like militia freaks who were involved who definitely understood what they were doing in an insurrectionary way. But I also just kind of think that those people are like loser fantasists, that like they're not, you know, that you know that they're like.
This sounds. I'm letting y'all know. This sounds almost identical to what mainstream Democrats were saying about Donald Trump in 2015. Oh, there's no way he's gonna win. There's no, look at he's calling Mexicans rapists. Nah, he's talking about building. He's not going to win. No way. No, he's just flailing. He's just, you know, making a lot of noise. There's no way he's going to win. 99% of the problems with January 6th are not about the actual insurrection attempt itself, but it's about the precedent that it sets. You are allowed to almost overthrow the government and then just walk away scot-free and run for president again, because that's what Donald Trump's doing. He literally tried to overthrow the government, and he's just going to run for president again. So I'm just saying.
The equivalent of, you know, whatever, the character on King of the Hill who talks about how, you know, the flag in the courtroom has, you know, is fringe, so that means it's naval cord, and he doesn't recognize, you know, its authority. You know, like yeah. I don't think those people pose a
sovereign citizens, yeah.
You know, a serious threat to the American state, and I also think that like, because we're mostly talking to each other, I think a lot of things that people in the liberal and then actually leftist media bubbles understood about that just didn't really fit with what came out later, because, you know, this is
Now, again, what he means by what came out later is he's going to talk about how, like, some of the deaths are, like, you know, were initially reported as something else, but turned out to be, you know, like, and so... But he's not going to say, oh, yeah, Pence was locked out of his office. He's not going to say, oh, yeah, panic buttons were removed. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't give a shit about, oh yeah, National Guard was delayed. I mean, we knew that the day of, but, you know, like, more reasonings as to why, like, you know, people related to Michael Flynn and the department, you know, he doesn't care about that. So when he says the things that came out later, he's mostly just saying, yeah, a lot of the people that stormed the Capitol were dumb. That's true. And because they're dumb, that means that the people in there with guns and bombs, they're less dumb or they're less dangerous. So, like, so that basically, the Ben Burgis theory is that if I'm a dangerous person and I want to assassinate someone, right, all I need to get is, like, 20 dumb motherfuckers to, like, distract everyone. And then if I fail to assassinate that person, right, because of something else that happens, then it's okay. Because there are just 20 dumb motherfuckers. So that means I'm not a threat anymore. The idea that there were bombs planted the day before, right? The idea, all these things, panic buttons removed, right? And oh yeah, there's a couple dumb people. So all of a sudden,
pervasive problem in America in 2020 that, you know, that like whatever people think in the fog of war 20 minutes after something happens, if it fits with your preferred narrative of the world, that's just what you end up thinking forever. You know, and so this is the thing. Andrea got mad about it. She did a video about it.
That is correct. Now I don't know if I would say I got mad, right? I don't know, like, oh, burn, oh, like, I don't know if I was mad per se, right? But I thought that Ben Burgis's take was dumb and therefore worth mockery. In my opinion, now again, this is the way my show is. I try to make my show lighthearted and fun. If someone that watches my show, right, says something stupid and I see it in the chat room, I will say, hey, that's fucking dumb. You're like, how stupid are you? And we'll have that conversation, right? So this, you know, I'm not, oh, Ben Burgis, like, that's not what I'm doing. Is if I like, again, look at the verbiage I used. Dumb as a shit fuck. What is a shit fuck? How can you? What is the intelligence level of a shit? It's anything you want, right? So again, like, I wouldn't, like, mad. It's not like I was, like, fuming in anger. It's more so that I was mocking him a little for having a bad take.
I was, you know, I had heard about it kind of indirectly. You know, like years ago, for the sake of my sanity, I turned off the part of thing in Twitter that gives you notifications about anybody that you don't follow. So I heard about it kind of.
I mean, again, this is like the elitist liberal thing. Like, and I'm not trying to be rude, right? I'm not trying to be rude. But it's like, you turned off notifications from anyone that doesn't follow you. That's just like, I didn't want to hear from the peasants on the top of my tower. Like, bro, what? Like, right? Like, oh, I haven't pre-approved your comments, and therefore I don't want anything to do. Like, so it's, oh my God.
Directly, but there were a couple people who were really hot on the idea that I should debate Andrea about this. My initial thing is, you know, I almost always say yes to offers like that. So it's like, yeah, sure.
Almost always. So you notice how he bakes it in. It's like, oh yeah, it's almost always. I'm not going to say always. I'm going to say almost always. And that way I get the credit, right, from if I would have said always accept debate challenges, except then I can still I'll tell you why I didn't accept this debate challenge. It's like you trying to, like, have your cake and eat it too. Yeah, I almost always accept debate challenges. I'm cool, man. Now, I don't listen to anything people say that if I haven't pre-approved them. My notifications are whitelist only. I have to know who you are, and you have to be pre-approved for me to have the privilege of reading what you say. That being said, I almost always, oh yes, accept debate challenges almost always. And let me tell you why I didn't do this one.
And then I watched the actual video, and the video was just like her, I don't know, maybe it's like insult comedy, but like her, like, doing, like.
I want you, okay, this one, I need to rip this one, the sound from this. So what is this? 149.22. I'm going to write that down. Because this one is good. So he's baking in the criticism. So he knows. Again, because I apologized. Literally, again, in the original DM exchange, I apologized and said, yes, I play it up and I like to use curse words because I think it's funny and my audience likes it and it's funny, right? So He knows that. I told him that, and he accepted my apology in a DM. In a DM, he was like, okay, like, let's have a conversation. And so, with that understood, you know that he knows that from me, and he accepted the apology. Here's what he has to say.
Debate Andrea about this. My initial thing is, I almost always say yes to offers like that. So it's like, yeah, sure. And then I watched the actual video, and the video was just like her. I don't know, maybe it's like insult comedy, but like her like doing like the first 5 minutes of the video. One, I thought were really inaccurate, but 2 was just like crazy over the top insults. It was like, no, I don't really want to talk to this person. That doesn't sound fun to me. And so I said no. And then after that, I actually did not 1, not 2, but 3 debates with different people on that exact same topic.
Now, is he going to mention that he got fucking steamrolled in all of those? Like, I want to let y'all know, he got legendarily owned by David Feldman so hard in that conversation. David Feldman didn't even call it a debate, but Ben Burgis did the Jackson Hinkle thing where every time I talk to someone on the internet, it's a debate, So that way it gets, the credit, right? He got destroyed so hard that he literally was yelling at the top of his lungs on, like, in this Zoom call with David Feldman, right? He admitted that he was dumb every single time. And he literally said that Black Lives Matter protesters were more dangerous than January 6th rioters. He said that Black Lives Matter protesters were using, like, ballistics on police or something. And, like, so he was throwing Black Lives Matter protesters under the bus. Is he going to mention that? No. Right, but again, yeah, I do use a lot of insults. I don't know, like, that's just what I do. There's a lot of people do that. But again, Ben Burgis has the ivory tower mindset. Oh, I haven't heard of you and read 17 of your memoirs, and therefore I don't need to see what you say about me. Oh, right, like, so he's already, like, predisposed to having this I'm better than you attitude. And so, it's just...
The Leafy Green, I think, was another Twitch streamer who ended up, I might be getting that name wrong, so my apologies. But she was just like the first person who said, yeah, I want to. But I said, okay, I'm not really going to engage with Andrea after this, but like I would still.
Now again, he says, I will not engage with Andrea after this. What was this? Him watching the first video. But that's a lie. I'm not even joking. He lies. Like, it's fine to have, like, your intense version of, like, I don't want to debate her. We tried talking in DMs, and I just, whatever. I'd rather just start with someone new with a fresh slate. That's one thing. But he's not doing that. He's lying. He engaged in this conversation with me in DMs after accepting my apology. He's lying. I don't understand why he's lying. It's unnecessary to lie. And then also, he would continue posting comments on my videos that I would make about it every time he looks stupid in it, because I made videos mocking his losses in those debates. He lost epic style, and so I continued to cover this whole thing because I think it's funny, right? He would comment on my videos. So in this, he's like, oh, I wouldn't engage with that sailor mouth trash who's not on the whitelist. Oh no. After accepting my apology, after commenting on my videos, after talking about me repeatedly. So I don't, like, again, you can have, like, a weird distortion of the facts, but to lie, like, the lying is just, I don't get it. That's just, I can't really understand why someone would lie about something so trivial. That's the thing. Like, it's not like you're lying about, like, it's not like you're Donald Trump lying about, like, delaying the National Guard, right? Like, you're going to get fucked up if you tell the truth about that, right? It's, but he's lying about something that literally doesn't matter. Like, he can still have the same takeaway. He can still have the same opinion on me. He can still have all the same verbiage, but without lying. Like, the lie doesn't, like, it's not like, oh, if he lies in this way, it doesn't make him look any better. It doesn't, like, it's not like the lie puts, like, he can even distort our conversation. He can say, like, oh yeah, she fake apologized to me and then continued to yell at me, and but, like, so he could distort the conversation we had, and that would be less of a lie than what he's doing right now.
topic, right? Do you have a pinch hitter, that you could do? And this person said, yeah. And so I did a debate with her. I did like an hour-long one with David Feldman, on his show. And we called it the like struggle session between me and Bessner, since he co-wrote that article with me on the Six, and the two hosts of this podcast called Know Your Enemy, who criticized that article on their podcast. So I kind of feel like three debates about what's ultimately a pretty minor.
So again, let me finish this. I paused.
Between me and Bessner, since he co-wrote that article with me on the Six, and the two hosts of this podcast called Know Your Enemy, who criticized that article on their podcast. So I kind of feel like three debates about what's ultimately a pretty minor issue, right? Like everybody involved.
Okay, the debate is whether or not. Now I'm getting angry. Andrea's getting upset. Andrea is getting upset. So now I'm getting angry. The debate is about whether or not it's a major or minor issue. Now, because Ben Burgis loves the Iraq war so much. Imagine if on CNN in 2002 and 2003, they were debating, oh yeah, you think Saddam has weapons of mass destruction? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, well, we had three debates, so it's settled. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. Yeah, we're going to go to war in Iraq. We're going to kill 1 million civilians, blah, 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 blah. That's cool. Chill. Oh, you want to bomb that country too? All right, we're going to bomb that country. Well, we had three debates. We had three debates. And we decided that it was a minor issue. Doesn't really matter. So we had three debates. Huh? What? Like I'm sorry, but the logic. Yeah, well, we both had three debates, and we decided that ultimately, going to war is probably for the best thing, and so, we decided that in our debates. What? What is the logic? I really just, what? I debated three people online, declared myself the winner, because again, that's also what he has to do here, because the debate is whether or not it's a major or minor issue. That is the debate. So in order for him to say it's ultimately a minor issue, what that means is he's declaring himself the winner in those, at least two of those three debates. And I've seen them. He won 0. He got mad, angry, admitted and conceded that he lost several times throughout the David Feldman one, right? Looked like an idiot in the Aaron Green one, and I only saw a little bit of the other one because I'm not too interested in watching like a tag team wrestling match, right? But they didn't do so well in that one either, okay? But let's assume he won. Like, let's assume I watched the entirety of the third one. Let's assume he won that. He still lost the other two, right? So in this world of super logic that Ben Burgis believes in, for it to ultimately be a minor issue, that means he has to have won 2 of the debates. That's not true, okay? But also the entire premise of like, oh yeah, we had a debate on this, and we both agreed that it's not a major issue, so that means objective reality ceases to exist. It's so dumb. Like, it really is so dumb that imagine being me and having read his book on logic. Like, yeah, he wrote a book on logic, and then now I read the book thinking, oh yeah, Ben Burgis, logical guy. Now I have egg on my face. Because what is the logic in that? It's non-existent.
To this discussion agrees that January 6th was very bad. That it was something done by people with bad politics, for bad reasons, and it's a bad thing to do. Like we're what we're disagreeing about is essentially threat assessment, and then like particular factual claims, that tie into that. But I guess the larger thing is that some people think it's. And none of this is to say that like Andrea's a terrible person or whatever. I think that like,
thank you.
I think it happens in media that like sometimes like people kind of, form fixations with particular figures, and they get,
I mean, if anyone is fixated, I'm going to be honest. If anyone is fixated, it's not me, because I'm not the one lying about this. Like, I'm just like, someone sends me a clip and I'm like, that's funny, so I'll talk about it. That's not a fixation. Fixating is creating like a web of lies and living in a fantasy world where like that's fixating. In order, like, me reviewing clips that people send me that I think are funny, that's not a fixation. I'm sorry. Right? But let's concede a little bit. Let's say, yeah, sure, I have made a couple of Ben Burgis videos here and there because I think it's funny. Sure. Am I lying? Can you verify anything I've said is a lie? No. I can verify factually, and I don't mind showing some evidence of him lying several times. In fact, in some of the other videos, I read out a little bit of the DMs. I'm not a huge DM leaking person, but, you know, I talked about when he accepted my apology and we had a conversation, right? But he's covering, like, so that's my problem here. That's a fixation. I'm just saying. That's a fixation. Creating a fantasy world and a web of lies and then living in that fantasy world, that's fixating.
I guess that sounds like a really insulting way to put it, but, like, what I mean is just, like, they get, like, they have a certain impression of somebody else who does media stuff, and then it sort of snowballs in on itself. And, you know, it's like, you know, that might not be, this might not be her best moment, right? You know, but that doesn't mean that, you know, that you know, anybody should, like, hate.
Now, I will say, I do think it is one of my best moments. I'm going to be honest. I've had a lot of fun. Doing, like, leftist infighting videos. Because, again, my perspective is I also don't think Ben Burgis is a bad person. I don't. Right? And so for me, it's just a fun way to engage in discourse with someone like this that I used to respect. I have less respect for him. But if he wants to, like, eventually stop lying and get over it, like, I'm down. Like, I don't give a fuck about this. This is just fun. It's just like, I'm having a great time just hanging around with my buds, shitting on, like, just spewing shit. This is just fun. That's all this is. This isn't like, oh, I'm an intellectual and I'm going to, like, I'm not, I'm, that's Ben, but I'm just chilling, right? And so, for me, I'm not, you know, I think this is one of my best moments. I think if you want to, the metric I would use for best moments is whether or not people laugh. And I have gotten so many messages from people saying that they laugh all the time at my Ben Burgis videos. So for me, this would be, right? Like, Matt in the chat, the letter hack of Majority Report fame writes, I'm sorry, Ben has talked about not debating with you more than the time it would take to actually debate. That is such a good point. That's so good. I love it. I really do. That is such a good point. And I think I'm going to continue with this on that.
Or go after it. In fact, please don't do that. But I guess, like, the big thing is that some people think it's hypocritical if you like to do debates to not do, like, every single person who ever wants to do one. And I guess I just don't. Let me think about. My wife is home, so she's. You know, I guess I just don't think that's right. Right? I mean, like in the, you know, I mean, in the book that I did that dealt most with this stuff, gives them an argument. One of the things I say, like, really early on in that book, is choose your battles. Right, you know, like not everything is worth spending time on. And
okay, now you see, that would make sense. That would make sense if, as the letter hack writes, if he just ignored it and then didn't harp on it for months and months and months. Yes, I would agree. You don't have to debate every single person who, like, that's fine. That's not my point. But again, he has spent more time watching. He's watched my video. He leaves comments sometimes on random videos. I mean, he might leave a comment on this one, right? So the time he's investing watching the video, not just the first video and deciding I'm evil or something, but the time he was texting me in DMs and we were engaging in conversation about January 6th, the time he's tweeted about me, he's done other debates because of my, like, the time investment is not the best logical defense for not to. I'm just saying this.
I just feel like, you know, if somebody is incredibly obnoxious to you, then, I mean, there might still be good.
And again, that, like, I hate this because, like, I feel like I have to just leak our DMs. Like, I really do. Because he accepted my apology and I told him I was just messing around. I use swear words a lot. Just because I call someone a fucker doesn't mean it's like, oh, wow. Oh. Did you hear? Andrea said fucker. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's so mean and rude. Like, what? Are you like June Cleaver or something? Like, what? I'm sorry, but like, I just.
Good enough reasons to do it anyway. Like if you're, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I have, you know, I'm going to speak, you know, like this is a chance for me to get certain ideas in front of a certain audience who won't hear it anyway. But like, I don't know. I guess I just think that should be up to each person. And I think, you know, and I guess like.
We have a new comment from the letter hack. Ben takes Andrea's comments about him more seriously than the insurrection itself. That's so true. That's so true. That's so true. Like someone like planting bombs the night before on January 5th, someone planting bombs at the DNC and RNC buildings to cause a distraction for storming the Capitol. Like that. Anyone can plant bombs. Whatever. And, you know, whatever. Oh! You know, the cops let him in. You know, key cards disabled. Panic buttons removed. Anyone can do that. But, oh no! I got called a shit fuck! I got called a shit fuck online!
To me, I just think that if sending the message that you can, you know, you can do a video with like 5 minutes straight. I mean, maybe it was half an hour straight. I watched the first 5 minutes, and then I kind of decided that I had enough, you know, but like at least
I don't believe that he just watched the first 5 minutes, because if that was the case, why would he click on the other videos and leave comments on the other videos I've made? If he just watched the first 5 minutes of the first, I also don't think it was 30 minutes, but I could be wrong. I think it was like 10 or 15. Why, like, oh, I can't bother to watch this, but yet you watched other videos and leave comments on them. So I don't know.
5 minutes straight of crazy over the top, you know, just like vicious personal attacks.
Vicious!
And then that's going to result in having a conversation later. That just seems like a pretty counterproductive message to send.
So this whole thing is just like him posturing then? Like, oh, I wanted to prove a logical point about my personality that sends a message. Like, what? But again, he debated Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, the guy who supported January 6th insurrection, says we should do another one, has been doing homophobic propaganda on his show for months and months and months, talking about how like we need to kill liberals, right? Talking about how gay people are killing our children. He debated Charlie Kirk. He was happy to do that. Charlie Kirk isn't obnoxious. Charlie Kirk isn't vicious. He doesn't mind debating someone who literally thinks transgender people should be sent to conversion therapy. That's fine. That's fine. No, that's cool. Who thinks that black people should be second-class citizens? That's cool. Minorities shouldn't have the right to vote. People should die without having health insurance. So, like, that's fine. That guy's cool. We're buddies. Let's have a conversation. But someone called me a shit fuck online. So vicious! Oh! Like, this is why I just can't take this seriously. I cannot take this fucking seriously. I just can't. If he really thinks that because I called him a shit fuck, again, a shit fuck, like, if he thinks that I am more vicious and obnoxious than Charlie Kirk, I mean, again, how can you take this seriously? How can you take it seriously?
In terms of how much fun any of this is going to be going forward. So, and I guess I also just don't feel like if I, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like there are probably right-wing figures who I've had, you know, made the offer to in the past. I mean, nobody's ever actually said this, but I'm sure that this could come up in the future. That like there are right-wing figures who have said like, hey, I don't think this is true. We should have a debate about it. That like could look at things I've said about them in the past and be like, no, I'm not going to debate you. You've been a complete dick about me, you know. And
sure.
like, go back and look at like some of the jokes that I told in TNBS segments about them or whatever.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
I really was a dick about them, but like if that came up, I guess I would think that was fair. Like,
look at this. He's owning himself. Why would you say that? Why would you own yourself publicly? Why would it, like that? The whole crux of your argument is that she was mean to me online, and then he's just going to acknowledge, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a complete hypocrite and I've been mean to other people online. Right? What is he doing? He's owning himself. He just, like, that was like a Control Z moment. You know, undo, you know, like for all my gamers and keyboard warriors out there, Control Z. That's undo. That was just like, yeah, everything I said for the last 10 minutes, psych. By the way, how long have I been doing this segment? I mean, I'm just having fun. I'm really stoned, so I'm just having fun, but let's keep going.
You know, like if you know, if Ben
Earlier, he said that I did a 30-minute video about him. I don't think the first one was 30 minutes. Not that it's a problem if it is. This one is already 30 minutes, but let's keep going. It might be 40, might be 50. Let's go.
Hero said, like, no, I had my staff look you up, Ben Burgis, and I found like 200 cases where you said that
I was 4'7" or whatever.
You know, that I was 4'7", and you know, and my voice sounded like a chipmunk, and you know, and all this stuff. I don't really want to talk to you. Then, like, I wouldn't go after him for that. I mean, I would just think like, okay, I mean, fair enough, right? You
that's
know?
that's not true. Like, there's no way that he would not mock that online. There's no way. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. I really do. Because I know, I used to be a big fan of TMBS, right? Rest in peace. And so I know his segments that he did on there. And I know that, like, he would constantly challenge people to debates, mock them when they said no or ignored him, and that would be a theme. Right? So I know that that is untrue. Now, if he's changing his position and now all of a sudden, you know, he heard the magical shitfuck word and then had to change his opinion, that's fine. But I mean, this is just factually not true.
Like, I had my fun, but now, like, you know, but sometimes that has consequences. And
yeah,
you know,
chicken's coming home to roost, I guess.
You know, the chickens come home to roost. I don't get to do that, right? And especially if he said, hey, I'm not going to debate you, Ben Burgis, because, like, you were a huge dick about me, and I don't want to reward that. But hey, I'll debate Sam Cedar. I'll debate Kyle Kalinske. I'll debate Atticus Berry, and
just like shouting out his buddies.
You find me a person who doesn't have this history, and I'll debate them about this exact same issue that you wanted to debate me about. Then I think it would be especially unreasonable, you know, to be like, oh, damn, you know, what a terrible hypocrite. He says that he likes.
What is he? This is so ridiculous, man. I mean, again, is there more of this? Like, I'm gonna be honest.
You know,
yeah.
And like, if you want to criticize me for that, you know, I don't know, then it's a kind of like weird and unpleasant game that, like, I really don't want to have anything to do with. It's something. It's like we live in an incredibly segmented media culture.
I apologized in DMs. He accepted my apology, and we engaged in conversation. I have done nothing but try to heal this, and he has lied about it every step of the way. I don't understand.
You know, the class that debates are important, and then I think being that a lot of the people I have debated is unfair, but, like, move on. You know, like,
whoa,
level, like. If you're pissed off at somebody, you know, that's something that's going to happen. And I think if somebody's pissed off at you and you think it's unfair, then, like, okay, right? Like, maybe it is unfair, but, like, move on, you know, like, live your life.
Okay, so now he's just admitting, yeah, it is unfair, but please leave me alone. Now, again, my show, the way my show works is when people send me clips, I mock them. I make fun of, like, if someone says something stupid, I will make fun of them. Like, Ben Burgis was on a show. He said something stupid. And so now I'm making fun of it. It's not that deep. It's not like I'm... I just can't stop thinking about Ben Burgis. Like, it's not like, you know, it's not anything like I'm waking up, it's 2 a.m. Oh, fuck. Ben! Like, it's not like that at all. It's like someone says, oh shit, Ben Burgis talked about you, here's the clip, and then I'm like, oh, okay. So, I mean, you know, and also Mila sent me the clip and gave me the wrong timestamp, and I brutally attacked her as well. So, like, I don't even, and she's not gonna go like, oh my god, right? So, but I don't know, man. I don't, like, Ben, if you're watching this, man, like, I don't understand why you're so afraid. Go watch any of my debates. I don't insult people to their face because I think that that's stupid and rude, right? Like, I just did a debate with Jackson Inkle where he was talking down to me and insulting me for 2 hours, and I was just chilling, right? Like, that's not the kind, like, I'm not gonna like call you Ben Burgis, I think you're stupid, and then like you're gonna have to like click hang up on the thing. That's not gonna happen, right? It's just that, you know, when I'm just rambling, I don't even know why I need to say this, because I already apologized in DMs and he accepted my apology and we had a conversation after him accepting my apology. So I don't even know why I have to reiterate this. He knows he's lying. He knows that he's fabricating the events here. He knows that those DMs are private and therefore he can just lie about them not existing at all. So let's keep going.
And so we're getting so much more of it now. On the last thing, I guess, because I know you need to lay dog out, so very last thing, on the larger subject of leftist infighting, I think there is a reason why we're getting so much more of it now. That like this small thing with like, I don't know, Andrea putting out these diss tracks about me and, you know.
Diss tracks! Yo. Diss tracks. All right.
Getting irritated about it. Like it's a very small example of a much larger thing, which is that like all of this stuff has gotten way more intense in like the last year or so. Really especially.
So, okay, I don't care about what he has to say. That was funny. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I'm gonna put out my next album pretty soon here, and I'm gonna have like at least 6 of the tracks. At least 6 of the tracks will be Ben Burgis related diss tracks. So buy my album. It'll be due out at the end of this month, folks. And you know, we got, you know, Ben is a beta male featuring Max the dog coming up. That's gonna be a good one. We worked really hard on that mix. And so I want to end with this.
And say, oh, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. You know, you're a beta male.
Beta.